I'm going to show you how to make an audio recording in the production studio using Pro Tools. Now this assumes that you've already set up your microphone, you know what you're going to record, and you have established a decent gain on the mixing board for that microphone. Next thing you're going to need to do is open up Pro Tools right here on the dock. And once that loads, it will show you a screen right here where it's basically asking you to create a project. And the only thing that you need to change on this screen is naming your project. The format that you should use is first your name, then the date, so today is 3/30/17, and then the name of your project. So I'm going to call this Demo Studio. Okay, after that, you just need to click Create. And now we have created the template for using Pro Tools. Nothing's happened just yet. The first thing that we need to do in order to capture audio is to create a track. So to do that, you go up top to where it says Track, going to click New to create a new track to hold our audio. Now, assuming you're only using one microphone, you leave everything here. If you know that you're going to be using two microphones recording something at the very same time, or three, you'd need to change that number, but in most cases, we just need to record one microphone. So we'll leave that at 1. We will click Create, and there's our track. Now on the other screen, which I'll move right here, this is what you'll see on the other monitor in the production studio. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is to prepare this track to be ready to be recorded, which is called Record Enabling that track. So what you do is press 2 buttons. The first is located on the track itself, this international symbol for recording. It says Track Record Enable. You're just going to click that, and all of a sudden we have our red button flashing, which means, hey, I'm ready to record. Up here in Pro Tools, there's a second red recording button that you're going to click. That does not mean you're recording. Okay, now it is ready to record, has not recorded anything just yet. You need both of these buttons record enabled in order to actually record anything. All right. So once you have this set up, you're pretty much ready to go. You should be able to see your signal right here in this window. You should also be able to see audio signal on this screen that should be showing up, but isn't for whatever reason. Maybe because it's on the other window. Point is, you should be able to see your audio signal in green right here, which means that we are getting sound from the microphone into the software. If you see it really low right here, that usually means that you don't have the gain for that track turned up high enough. You want it to be right around here where I see it. Alright, so next step is to actually record. Only thing you need to do here is press this green play button, and as soon as we have that pressed, we are recording. So you can see that we have the waveform starting to develop. This sort of red background means that we are recording. You can see the track numbers up here telling us the length of our clip from our recording. Everything looks good. You're doing your performance or whatever. And then once you get to a stopping point, you're just going to press stop right here. You can also press space bar. So I press stop. Awesome. I have my recording. I can play it back now by selecting either from the very beginning of the clip or pressing, backtrack to the beginning, or I can click anywhere in the middle of the clip and I can play it by pressing play. Okay, I can also press stop. That way I'm not hearing myself speak like you all are. And then I need to basically get this audio file out of Pro Tools and move it into either on the computer as an MP3 file, or maybe you need to import it into iMovie or into another video editing software. The way that you do it is by a process called bouncing. Not to be confused with exporting. Some people want to say export, and that is not the right information. Alright, so there's 2 ways to bounce this file. Once you're done, and you might have multiple files to select. You need to select them. You can select them by pressing this hand on the bottom, and now we have our file selected. Or you can also click up top and just click and drag over the section of everything that you want exported, basically, or bounced. So once that's selected, we're just going to go up here to File, scroll down to Bounce, and say Bounce to Disk. It's going to pop up this window. Only thing that you really need to make sure of here is that this is not set to multiple mono, but is set to interleaved. That's going to make sure that we have audio in both headphones. And we want to make sure that we have an MP3 and that this is offline. We've already selected our name for the file. We've already selected where it will live. We're just going to click Bounce. You don't need to change anything here unless you really feel like, putting your artist and album title in there. That's not applicable at all unless you are putting something on a CD or into iTunes. So you just press OK. And there it goes. And now the file lives as an MP3 and as a WAV file, which is much larger than an MP3 if you need it. It lives wherever we last told it to live in the production studio. So thank you so much for watching.